Giant vs Giant The Broken Excalibur is a new fast-paced hack-and-slash action roguelike with a decent amount of combat variety, tough and gigantic bosses, a hand-drawn art style and a great long-term progression. The combination of the intense and quick combat system, the very diverse weapons and skills, mixed with a dab of British folklore and magical mumbo-jumbo, works brilliantly, while the balance of said weapons can be a tad off. I am Dorian the Explorer and I played through the whole story of Giant vs Giant The Broken Excalibur, which took me around 15 hours and 3 discussions with my partner why I keep on playing a cartoonish game instead of spending time with her. So join me while we explore this new action roguelike. With giants roaming the earth, our trusted advisor Merlin banished them into another dimension and sadly the whole of Camelot with them. During this dimensional Uber ride, all of Camelot's houses got demolished, the citizens scattered and our powerful sword destroyed. Luckily, King Arthur can take up the weaponry of his fallen knights, facing 3 biomes with powerful enemies in the search for Camelot's residents, resources to rebuild the castle and a way out of this mess. Armed with a basic attack and a special skill provided by the Knights of the Round Table, we hack and slash through procedurally generated stages of each biome. These stages see us take on numerous enemies, which attacks we need to avoid with a dodge roll or with the well-designed weapons. Since, apart from the attack speed, damage and animation, our weapons can further impact our opponents, stopping them in their tracks. The wide and slow swinging sword of Bedivere fits this criteria perfectly by constantly breaking off incoming attacks, while the throwable dagger of Boris the Fighting Buttplug requires us to perfect the dodge roll since it leaves our enemies unfazed. Next to the basic attack, the special skill each knight offers can vastly change our fighting style as well, with a lightning strike from Lancelot or a poison shooting plant from Gawain. The flexibility of picking different setups ramps up the replayability since the constant desire to test different combinations is perfect to avoid any monotony. Sadly, 15 hours of game time saw me encountering a lack in balance between the different weapons, since some allowed me to make quick work of bosses, while others needed me to grind down at their knees and toes while avoiding their incoming attacks. Another minor nuisance was the time it took me to find and unlock new knights and their abilities. The lack of weapon variety the first couple of hours was weighing on my experience, however I was able to perfect my skill with the first 2 weapon sets. The weapon diversity picks up incredibly fast once we unlock said knights and experience the power-ups during a run. The effectiveness of our attacks is constantly increasing, since most of the levels allow us to pick enhancements for our character as a whole or our weapon set specifically, while some tables can even give us additional abilities and skills. The overall upgrades can have a higher effect when they fit our currently equipped weapon, giving us various ways of building Arthur's combat power each round. The weapon and skill specific upgrades can heavily impact our gameplay, with Boris' daggers morphing into a barrage of projectiles, while the range of Bedivere's sword beefs up, nearly hitting every enemy in a level. Next to the enhancements we obtain by beating Pokemon-esque creatures, we further encounter a merchant who offers us various items to beef up Arthur's biceps and armor as a whole. Another helpful NPC is Morgana, who provides us with a buff and a curse. These often were neglectable and sometimes extremely game-changing, making some runs a lot easier and others extremely difficult. All of these upgrades are necessary to face the tough bosses, which range from huge golems and 3-headed dogs guarding the Sorcerer's Stone,
I should not have said that,
to gigantic, well, giants. Every biome has 2 stages we need to clear, with the first putting a mini-boss in our way and the second seeing us take down a giant.
That's a face only a mother.
After beating all 3 biomes, the giants switch into another franchise, after morphing together into a bigger and more versatile boy giant. The attack patterns of all these bosses are vast and sometimes difficult to make out, but with a large enough health bar, we can take a couple of hits before running the risk of biting the dust. In the case of a fine powdered meal, we see Arthur being resurrected by Merlin, allowing us to roam free in Camelot and use the 2 obtained currencies. One is gold, which drops from enemies as well as easily destroyed chests and barrels, while the other is crystals obtained from giants. Both currencies are required to rebuild Camelot to unlock further features like a blacksmith to enhance our weapon's effectiveness, gems which can level up with further use, tarot cards to mix up the next run with new modifiers, and a couple more. Apart from leveling up the gems, we also have to gain experience points with the various weapons before we can enhance them at the smithy. This form of constant progression gives us an addictive thrive, becoming harder, better, faster, stronger. Summing up Knight vs Giant The Broken Excalibur, it is easy to see that all the parts of Camelot's armory fit perfectly together, leaving us with a great overall experience. It's going to launch on the 5th of October for various platforms for $19.99. Will you play Knight vs Giant, and what is your favorite pasta? Let me know in the comments, like, share and subscribe, and last but not least, have a great day or evening.